Hello everyone, it's your boy BananasFinest here, and welcome to another Dragon Ball FighterZ video. So I noticed that on all of my most popular videos, thousands of you guys have been demanding, just absolutely demanding, that I talk about how to play Piccolo's neutral. Saying things about how I'm the best Piccolo you've ever seen, and you don't understand how I can have the win ratios that I have with this guy. So I figured today I'd sit down, I'd take the time, break this down step for step for you guys, just to help you out. So here we go, let's talk about Piccolo's neutral. Okay, so as previously mentioned, today we're going to be talking about Piccolo's neutral game. That's going to be the only thing I'm focusing on. I'm going to try and make this a quick video, maybe not even longer than 5 minutes, so we'll see how long it takes. So starting off with kind of where Piccolo should be in a team, I don't recommend having him as anchor. He can work as a point character for sure, because having more assists just helps him out in the neutral. I personally prefer to have him as a mid character, because I actually do really like his assist a lot. So that being said, I would definitely have him as mid or point. That way, because his neutral game isn't the strongest. Let's start there. He doesn't have any really good projectiles. Like, he has his homing blast here, but he doesn't have like your standard like ki blast, because he has this grab, and he doesn't have like the best range stuff. So having more assists to help you out in neutral is definitely recommended. So that being said, let's talk about some things that you can throw out in neutral, kind of like what I think his best options are. Alright, so number one is going to be the thing I just mentioned, which is his homing blast here. So that's his quarter circle forward and special. Just a couple quick things about this. You throw it out, it moves across, follows an opponent, and hits them. If you hold it down, it produces a larger blast that takes longer to get there. It does the same amount of damage. So this is a decent thing to throw out in neutral. If you're just kind of playing footsies with your opponent and you're both on opposite sides of the screen, if you have time to throw this out really quick, then I would say definitely do it. That being said, you have to be careful because it's easily just beaten outright by normal projectiles. So what I mean by this, let's see, sorry, what am I doing? So we'll just do a standard ki blast there. So if I throw this out, Beerus can just shoot it out. Beerus has a pretty weak projectile, but it is canceled out there. So if you have someone like with a Vegeta or something who can throw out a bunch of them, he can pretty much just shut you down completely, and this will also lose outright to beams. Shoot, I don't really have a good example. Does Cell have a beam? I can't remember. I think he does. But if you throw this out and they have a beam, they can just blast right through it and mess you up. So you have to be careful depending on the situation. If you do throw this out, just be ready to block too, because a couple things will usually happen if your opponent sees you throw this out. The first thing is they'll throw out a projectile of their own, and they'll probably just beat it outright. Or they'll panic and homing dash at you. So that's usually when this is really effective, and that's when I like to throw it out, is to try and bait a super dash. So what I mean by this is, let's see, so if we go, okay, so I have the dummy set to do a super dash. So if I throw this out, oh my god, I'm dumb. Hold up. There we go. Okay. So if I throw this out, they can homing dash right through it. So that's totally fine though, because like I said, we usually want to just use this to bait it, and then we'll punish them with a down heavy. So if I throw this out, and I know that they're gonna super dash, if that seems to be like their kind of response, then I would just, sometimes what I like to do is I throw it out, I dash forward a little bit, and then I immediately stop. Because when they see me dash forward, they're like, oh, screw you, I'm just gonna, super dash through that. But if you just dash forward and stop, then, boom, you can punish them with that down heavy, go into a full combo, what have you. So that would be, I think, his first, and it's a pretty strong tool in neutral, is this homing blast here. You can throw out, more than one. So that would be the first thing I'd throw out. Okay, next up, just talking about regular basics. His stand jab is pretty bad. His stand medium is okay, but his stand heavy is really good. So if you are willing to risk it, to throw this out every once in a while, if you're within decent range, this does connect from the start. That's how ridiculous the range is on this thing. I think it's even a little longer than start. Let's see how far back we can go with this. That still hits. That's crazy. Okay, so a little bit farther than the starting point. That's how far that thing goes out. I don't always throw this out. I do a pretty bad job of throwing this out, you know, because it can be punished. You have to be careful, but I mean, this isn't a bad thing to throw out every once in a while to try and catch your opponent, because his down heavy is not the best. As you can see, it doesn't have a lot of horizontal distance there. I mean, it moves pretty high up and vertically, but doesn't catch a lot of people. So his stand heavy is pretty good. So this is, I'd say, one of the normals I throw out a lot. Secondly, his air normals are pretty dang good. Specifically his jump jab. This thing has a crazy hitbox. It's farther than his jump medium. So, for example, you know, if you have an opponent who likes to jump a lot, what am I doing? Pose, jump. If you have an opponent who likes to jump a lot, let's say from right here. So I'm not hitting, obviously. Can't hit with the medium either. Let's move a little closer. Oh shit. A little closer. I think like right there. So that hits from there. That's crazy. Look at that. That's some crazy range. If I try to throw out his medium, as you can see, he kind of like leans back a little bit, and so he can't even hit there from the medium. But like his jab connects there, which is nuts. So definitely throwing out jump jab. You know, if you're in a situation where you're running at him and you jump, throw that out first. That's going to be the thing that, you know, you can catch a lot of people without them realizing, and then you can go into a full combo, like if they're in the corner or something. A lot of times you'll win a lot of trades just by throwing out this jump jab. So that would be another thing. That's pretty much it for his normals that I want to cover. So we'll move on from here. Okay, and that brings me to my final point, which is something I mentioned earlier in the video, and that is using your assists in neutral. And so I know this isn't necessarily character specific, because any character can use assists to help their neutral, but what I mean by this is, you know, there are some characters or some players that you'll see where they like to save their assists in order to do crazy combo extensions. That is usually not the case with Piccolo, right? Usually, like, the only time I'll save an assist for a combo extension is like this one in the corner, which of course I dropped it, but you know, using a beam assist to catch someone. But other than that, I'll pretty much exclusively use the beam assist in order to close the distance between me and my opponent. You can also do this with, like, you know, Vegeta assist. I mean, really a ton of assists. Anything that you can use to kind of cover you while you move in. You know, if the enemy's on block, what am I doing? There we go. If the enemy's on block, you know, and we're just kind of hopping around, I'll usually throw this out, run in, and that way I can start applying pressure, right? Because this is where Piccolo excels. Up close and personal, he has a lot of mix-up options and everything. You know, his neutral, as we've stated up to this point, it isn't the best. He doesn't have a lot of long-range options, so he wants to get in no matter how he can. So that being said, save your assists, use them in order to get in and start applying pressure this way. That's another great way to practice the neutral using Piccolo. Alright guys, and that pretty much wraps up this video on how to play Piccolo neutral. As always, I hope that you found something useful out of this. I know it was a little bit quick. I apologize if I didn't cover every single aspect or if I missed something, but these are just a couple things that I found useful in terms of, you know, closing the distance with Piccolo, how you kind of want to deal with the neutral. So once again, in summary, this is throwing out his homing blast in order to bait super dashes or to just get, you know, kind of like a surprise hit on someone, using his jump jab, which has crazy hitbox. Also his stand heavy is really good, and then also just utilizing your assists to close the distance whenever necessary. Anyways, as I said, I hope you found this helpful. If you did, let me know in the comments below, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.